Hello and welcome to the Overland Journal podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Giordano, and today's episode I'm sitting down with Scott Brady and XOVERLAND's Clay and Rochelle Croft to discuss the creation of the Overland Collective and the company's acquisition of Overland Journal and Expedition Portal. Scott, Clay, and Rochelle define the Overland Collective, which brings together XOVERLAND, Overland Journal, Expedition Portal, and the XOVERLAND Ranch. This episode then dives into the lead-up and backstory behind the acquisition, what Overland Journal, Expedition Portal, and XOVERLAND viewers and readers should expect moving forward, and honest conversations about editorial independence and authenticity. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for tuning in.
Massive Overland community news. The Overland Collective. This is huge stuff. I'm very excited about this podcast episode. My two main clients, also I sometimes call them my bosses, there are three, all in the same room, ready to chat
No
about
pressure.
the recent news. Yeah, exactly. So we have Scott Brady, Rochelle Croft, and Clay Croft here to talk about the massive news about the Overland Collective that the news just dropped. So I'm really excited to chat with you guys all about it, about the history behind it. How long have you been chatting about this? What's in the works? What should people expect? I know there have been some questions in the community. So yeah, thank you so much for chatting with me about it today.
You bet.
Yeah, thanks, Ash.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Ashley. And I love the fact that this podcast is being recorded in Montana at the XOVERLAND hangar, and that you are in Georgia on your way further east through Central Asia. So it seems a fitting reminder to everyone that we do the thing. We really get out there and do it. So
Yeah, I was looking at some statistics recently about all the people involved in the Overland Collective, and we'll talk about the different sort of branches of the Overland Collective soon. But there's a lot of kilometers or a lot of miles covered, a lot of countries driven, some firsts. So yeah, that's a very impressive resume. Maybe Scott, you could touch on that a little bit.
well, I mean, that is kind of a fun topic to discuss, because that's also how Clay and I got to spend time together. So, our first really ambitious project after having done the Winter Road to Tuktoyaktuk, and then we had done Central America, and then we moved to doing the Silk Road, which is kind of where Ashley is moving along right now. After that, I had this opportunity to do Expedition 7. And at the time, it had been a long time since something like that had been done. I mean, Land Rover and other companies used to do big expeditions like that, and they kind of stopped. And we were super lucky that Greg and I were able to figure out a plan that worked for us to be able to go around the world. And one of the things we wanted to do was to document this experience of being the first in history to take the same four-wheel drive to all 7 continents. And Clay and Rochelle had done some work with us. They had been advertising their new series. We had been working together to help grow what I felt was a really important new arm of overlanding in North America, which was premium video content. And it was something that we weren't that good at. So when you can identify someone in your industry that you respect and that you have shared values with, and they're way better at something than you are, you're better off helping them be successful as opposed to trying to compete against them for the same thing. And we wouldn't have been able to compete because you guys were better at it by a wide margin than we were. So I thought, let's find a way to work together. And one of the best ways to do that is to do big things together.
For sure.
So when Greg said, hey, I really want to invest in documenting this properly, there were a couple people that came to mind. Bruce Dorn, Sinway Xavier, and of course Clay Croft. So, and it was difficult for everybody to be on every continent. So we had the opportunity to have Clay with us for. We started off in Russia together,
Yep. I think you gave me a 24-hour notice.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I forgot that part.
Yeah. I had just met you at the Overland rally, and then we'd gone to the SEMA Auto Show, and then I kind of met you again right there and talked a little bit. And then I remember I was at home. It was at the other house. You don't live there anymore. And I was in the garage, and Scott called me, and I was like, okay. Oh, I have an opportunity to go to Russia. Ooh, that's pretty big. Game on. Here we go. But I already had like a film shoot scheduled with XOVERLAND. And so I had to call all my guys, be like, guys, can I move the entire trip? Because I have this opportunity. And all the guys were like, yeah, we can figure it out. We'll move the trip.
We had toddlers at home and babies, and
Wow.
And then I lost my passport.
oh, I forgot
And-
about
I didn't know that part either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And then, so I was like, and we're just pretty broke at the time too. And I was like, where's my passport? And ended up having to overnight it to get another one made. And
it
then,
was so
because
expensive.
then we had to ship our passports in to get visas at the consulate.
That's right.
in DC. So I had to do all this stuff to hit the timelines. So yeah, that was my first, get into E7, work with Scott. Let's go.
Well,
Yeah.
and, I mean, think about the friendships that came out of that. Kurt Williams,
Yeah.
Greg Miller. I mean, the people that we traveled with in Russia together. And also for you to get this like really rare glimpse into something that is big and moving quickly.
Is the biggest thing out there.
Yeah. I remember the number of times you and I were worried about dying on the Russian roads. together. Yeah. There was a lot of close calls in Russia.
Ashley, if
It's
you
like
make it to
that
Russia,
seat
they're bad.
time.
What's that? Sorry.
Oh, yes, I will. keep
Don't
that in
forget.
mind. I won't forget. I was gonna say like those extended periods of seat time together can often start the beginning of big things. So this is a great example of that. And how did that move forward into today, I guess? So way back when in Russia, trying not to die together on the roads. How did that then, have the stepping stones to this collective that has been formed recently?
I think at that time it was just the foundation of friendship. It was too early to know. I mean, XOVERLAND didn't know if it was going to be alive in 5 months. We were going to do this project of shooting these first few episodes and then see how it went. So this was just, we didn't have big visions and dreams at that time. The big vision and the dream was to do the next episode and make sure that we hit the timelines that we had. And so we were very short-sighted at the time because that was enough. So a trip like that just built friendships that later grew into more opportunities and chances to work together and grow that friendship, and then eventually turned into business conversations.
And I remember like even Scott, we were trying to remember the year that you came to the house for Christmas one year, or just after Christmas.
I do remember that.
For New
Yeah,
Year's, and
we
the
did New
boys were
Year's.
like,
Oh my gosh.
I mean, little. Steph was like reading books to them.
That's right.
Still.
They were so tiny.
Yeah.
And we just got to spend quality time together. And then we did South America together. We did Greenland together.
Yep.
We were doing these really big trips together that gave us a lot of time in the same car. And that's when you really get to know somebody. I mean, you know that, Ashley, from your trips. I mean, when you spend a lot of time with someone on an expedition, you get to see the full spectrum of their character.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You get to see them.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Get to see them stinky. Get to see them stressed, hungry,
Lack of sleep.
lack of sleep, frustrated, how they work, how they operate. And I guess with all the guys that are like at least part of the E7 team and your team and all that stuff, you're like, oh, these guys are bomber. Not much phases these guys. I want to be like these guys.
And I think the conversations, from what I recall, was after the Greenland expedition in particular.
Yes.
When you guys really started, the conversations moved more to a business collaboration at some point.
Yeah, I remember we were going north still. That's how I recall it.
Yep.
We were in the Emma, the lead truck, E7. No, Emma was the lead Hilux truck from Arctic Trucks. And we were just cruising in the front, just going along, talking about what it could look like. And, what else do you remember from that conversation?
I think the thing that I remember the most was we had always talked about business together, like how to help each other, how to be supportive, like maybe even bouncing strategy and ideas off each other, where you'd be like, hey, what do you think about like really going all in on YouTube? Or should we really be focusing on streaming? And we would just have these great conversations. And then at some point you realize like our two businesses are very compatible.
Yeah.
And then I remember myself thinking, like, maintaining this together, even if we never merge or we never work together, in an official capacity, us both making sure that we're successful is really important to the future of the industry. It's important to maintaining the values of overlanding.
Yeah.
And you and I were finishing each other's sentences, worried about the fact that overlanding was going to become diluted, that it wasn't going to be vehicle-based travel. It was just going to be, four-wheeling with a roof tent. And that is not what overlanding is. Four-wheeling is sport. It's super fun. I love doing it. But it's recreational sport, whereas overlanding is travel. And you and I are travelers. The three of us are travelers. So I remember us being so focused on like, how do we maintain those values of the industry?
Yeah. And now, it's gone through a lot of iterations over the years, and we've been able to keep our bearing on that while still respecting and loving all the other things. To your point there, like the sport of four-wheel drive or, wheeling.
Yep.
Very cool. And I guess if you want to know how would you separate that in your head? I guess you could say, if you're putting a part on, if you're putting a part on or doing a modification to your vehicle so that it can go down a harder trail or do a harder thing, that's in the with that mindset, that's the sport side. If you're putting something on your vehicle so that you can have a better travel experience to go further or go somewhere and do this thing, that's more of the overland mindset for a modification. And that same modification can also help you on a hard trail. But the emphasis or the focus behind putting something on or modifying something, it was different.
Yeah, you're only doing it because the conditions demand it. Like we had 44-inch tires on the trucks in Greenland because otherwise you'd never make it across.
Right.
You'd never make it across and the goal was to drive across Greenland.
Yep.
So
and you wouldn't put that on to go across Africa.
That's right.
So it's condition dependent.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm curious at what point it morphed from these ideas and speaking and conversations to being like, let's do this thing. Let's start, like, first steps.
It was actually a few years ago. And we kind of got some timelines put together. We're like, okay, by this year we want to do this. By this year we should probably, Scott, you were saying, I'd like to see the business do this or that. And I think COVID was right at the end of that, or right at the beginning of that. So that kicked it a whole year, punted some stuff, changed things as it did with everybody's business. And then we kind of just, I came back to you and said, I gotta go buy this ranch.
I remember that
first.
I remember that. Yeah. That kicked the can down the road a little bit.
It did.
Yeah. I really love the idea, but that opportunity came up. That was supposed to be a 5-year plan that turned into a 9-month acquisition. And so I was really under the gun. That was a big one, but we knew we just had to do it because of the property. So that took priority. And then we came back around. Here we are. We bought that 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago now. It was 2 years ago.
It was a year and a half.
That we were signing stuff and putting money down and all that.
Not 2 years ago.
No?
Nope.
Well,
August.
The fog of business war.
August will be 2 years ago. But yeah, throughout that whole process, I think, Scott, I've been really just grateful to you and your patience and for all parties involved, because it literally was this ongoing conversation of like, hey, do we still want to talk about this? Is everybody kind of interested in this? Yeah, we're interested. It's just not the right time. Awesome. We'll just keep on going. And we just both kept going. And so I would say for me personally, and for you, this past, what month is it? So last year, after we kind of got through the ranch and got it launched and we're figuring out how to run that business, the little thought was like, okay, this might be the time to have those conversations and to actually take some action on it now. And so that's when it really started kicking off. I would say last probably summer or fall.
Yeah, I made the trip to the ranch.
That's right.
So you and I spent
In the
2 days together on the ranch, really talking about how it would work. And I think the reason why we were both so comfortable with taking the time with it is because we knew it was the best possible outcome. You know, we've had many people through the years want to purchase Overland International, but either they couldn't take care of my team properly or they wouldn't take care of the values of the organization properly. Because I've put 20 plus years of my life into maintaining a business with editorial integrity. We've never done a single page of advertorial. So we have taken all of that very serious. And it's really hard to find someone that thinks that that's important too. And you guys do. So I felt like our best opportunity was the three of us for sure, and the rest of the team. So.
Yeah. So
For you, Scott, was this?
Nope.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ash.
Oh, I was just going to ask Scott if this was an opportunity to kind of free up some more time, do other things. Is that one of the things that motivated you to want to do this, or was it something that you wanted to sort of change your daily routines or tasks, or have a different role with Overland Journal and Expedition Portal?
That's a wonderful question. And in many ways, I don't know yet. My goal right now is to focus on us winning together. That's my most immediate goal. But when I think about the reason why I wanted to do that is I knew that I could never do it as well, just Overland International, as we could together. So there are talents. I mean, the team at XOVERLAND is much larger, and they have an incredible marketing team with Mary Hannah. They have an incredible production team with Andy, operationally with Ryan. They have world-class executives in areas that we did not. So that was one of the things that was interesting is XOVERLAND didn't make a magazine. We didn't focus on video, but then we had like a great business development guy in Brian, and we had, an incredible editor in Tina, and I'm unique in some ways. So we all fit together like that, even on the team side, and that's also very rare to find. So for me, I realized that if we were going to maintain the values in the industry that we all care about, we needed to be as big and influential as possible to maintain those values in the industry. Our industry is rapidly growing and it's rapidly changing, and the only way that you maintain the values that we care about, which is family-friendly content, genuine travel around the world, inspirational content, where people don't feel like that they need to spend a bunch of money. They can go around the world in a $1,500 car, and we talk about that all the time. So I knew the only way, and you and I have talked about that, Clay, the only way that we can protect the industry from, to be candid, grifters of people who just want to come in and make a couple bucks is to be bigger and better and stronger together.
Because those people that do come in that want to just make a buck are bigger and stronger than us.
That's right.
Yeah, and it happens all the time. You see it in all the industries, and thankfully we've had our pulse on a lot of other industries over the years because we're enthusiasts about other stuff, and you just see it happen. So the writing was on the wall that if we don't do something like this, it could be at risk. The integrity of the industry could be at risk.
That's right.
Yeah, that was a major driver for me too. The other thing was what is it? Not competition, not frimpetition. It's
co-opetition.
Co-opetition.
Yeah, that's right. Cooperative competition.
Yeah, Scott touched on this a little earlier. There are things that came up with our sponsorships over the years of people wanting to do this or that, and we would say no to it because, like, you should call Expedition Portal for that, or you should call Overland Journal. That's the great fit for that. We don't do those things, and we, just like you could have done video at some time, we could have attempted to do journalism or something, but it was never a good idea because, for one, again, we didn't want to step on each other's toes. We wanted to see each other's businesses succeed because they were expertise in the field. And so eventually what happened to us is you just see some things cap out. You can't offer everything, and you can't merge. And then the two visionaries here sitting are like, oh, but if we, then we could offer these things, and this would be even cooler, either on the business side or the storytelling side, because it takes, big visions and big ideas take horsepower, and we're kind of capping out the horsepower to do things because we're not together. And now,
and I would even like to speak to the fact that it also requires leadership. And
for sure,
my business, I've always been a traveler. I want to go see the world, and I want to share it with others. And I think that we had insufficient leadership within the organization. And the fact that, Rochelle, that we have you in leadership as the CEO, that was actually one of the pieces that made me feel at peace, was that we have an incredible leader that is also experienced and understands the industry and understands what it means to make great content and invest in that, but also hold the values of the industry very close to the chest. So if you think about it, you have one of the greatest video production teams in the world. You have someone who's traveled around the world and made a great publication. And now we have a leader that is capable of taking us to that next level. That is why it all feels right. Yeah.
And back to the timeline, I agree, Scott. And back to the timeline, we couldn't have done this a year ago because we were organized differently. I was CEO at the time, but I felt like after the ranch and we knew that the OJ deal was on the table in the future, but I was like, okay, I think I've got this to where I need to be. I don't need a CEO title anymore. I actually want the creative title, and who's actually really running all this stuff behind the show? Rochelle. So Shelley needs to be in the official position of the CEO because she was clearly better at it than I was. And so we restructured. We made that announcement to our team a year and a half ago now. And then, and those adjustments take time to settle out. And I think, so it's been, I don't know, the foot's been on the pedal for a while. Changing things and But it was important that Shelley came to be CEO.
I agree.
Yeah, what do the roles and responsibilities look like now for each of you?
Yeah, great question. I am leading this big ship, which I'm very excited about as CEO. Right now, a lot of what I do is a lot of problem solving, making sure the team is cared for, hiring new team members, holding all of the things that aren't so glamorous, like budgets and accounting and just things that keep the wheels turning, and then making future decisions as well as we continue on. Clay is the Chief Creative Officer, and that was a switch XOVERLAND made just over a year ago. And so it allowed him to step more into that creative role. It's really hard to be pulled in so many directions mentally at any given time, and he handles it so well. I think because you're ADD, you handle it really well.
Totally.
Because you can just bounce back and forth. But it was starting to take its toll for sure to come in and make an executive decision and then be like, how do I tell this story really well and get into the edit room? And so we've been trying to pull him more and more into that creative mindset as much as we can, all the while Clay and I still make almost every decision together in some capacity. We're bouncing ideas off each other. He's very visionary. He is so gifted at casting vision, and Scott is as well, that I necessarily don't have that gift for. I'll have it in a few select moments and in a different way, but Clay can really, and Scott, they can see really far down the road. And then Scott right now is retaining the executive publishing title for Overland Journal and Portal. We've told him when he came on, I said, just keep running things as you are. We don't need to rock the boat. Just keep doing what you're doing. All the while, his title is still floating. It's actually kind of a joke right now. We're chatting through it, but he is helping me out a lot, even on the business side of things, of just educating me on how their business runs and who all of the players are and the team members and how they've worked. And then that combining, we're able to kind of see, okay, well, how can we tweak this and even make it better? Where can we go from here? And it's been so nice to have now the three of us, instead of just feeling like Clay and I are shouldering everything. Scott's not shouldering everything by himself. And it's taken a lot of pressure off, and it's been really fun.
Yeah, you feel like you've got a quorum, a team of people.
Yeah.
And I think
better together.
Ashley, what I was most grateful for is Clay and Rochelle's commitment to editorial integrity. That was the one. There was a couple things that were hard lines in the sand, and that was one of them. And I know, Ashley, that's an important value to you as well, and I know it is for Tina. And our audience needs that. They need to have that single source of truth. So the fact that Clay and Rochelle were so committed to Overland Journal always holding that line, that was a huge stress relief for me. It was very encouraging to see them commit to that so early. So we'll be able to, and same with the podcast, where we're going to be able to say when something works and when it doesn't. We don't have to adjust our approach with our editorial. So.
I think for the audience out there, if we could define what is advertorial, what is editorial, people may not know, because even I was a little fuzzy on it at first.
Well, anytime that there's a conflict of interest, so every magazine has advertising, but they're kept entirely separate. I mean, Ashley, you can speak to the fact that you've never been asked to compromise your edit. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Have you ever been asked to compromise your editorial integrity for Overland Journal?
No, and actually it's something that I keep in mind all the time, and I'm very strategic about keeping certain things separate. And now that XOVERLAND, Overland Journal, Expedition Portal, and the Ranch, all of that is under one umbrella, I still am very committed to keeping my own integrity intact about what I'm writing about or what that's influenced by. But yeah, I think it can be easy in the overland industry to kind of have that compromise, like have that happen.
Yep.
Very easily.
Yeah, if the
certain things could be sponsored or
if the person that's writing the content is being compensated for their opinion, it's advertorial. If obviously businesses need revenue to run, but that you maintain that with church and state, like advertising and business development runs, and editorial runs separate. But once an editor has been compensated, or the businesses has been compensated for someone's opinion, like if they say this is the best tire ever and you got a $10,000 check, that is very much advertorial. And that is most of the industry. So we're one of the few remaining publications in the world that doesn't, it's our policy. So
that's good. Awesome. It's very important.
I was also very cognizant about sort of shifting certain stories to other editors when I felt like that was the appropriate thing to do.
Smart.
So yeah, one of those, I think that was really important. So I think it's great to define editorial and advertorial and the difference between the two. And maybe listeners have questions about, I saw this in the comments a little bit today on Expedition Portal about what happens when XOVERLAND comes to form the Overland Collective with Overland Journal and Expedition Portal, and you have a relationship with certain companies. Does that impact the integrity of editorial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great question. And we saw this one coming, and we've actually talked about this a lot. Because when we were talking about how we join forces, how do we make editorial that priority and it stays separate? So the reason we formed kind of the collective with the brands underneath was so that each brand can continue operating in its own vertical. So XOVERLAND, we're going to continue to do what we do. We have sponsors. They are fantastic partners. We've had them for years. And as XOVERLAND, we have always worked really hard to only work with those companies that we believe are good because we are using the gear out in the field.
Yep.
And we will always retain that. And then you have Overland Journal, you have Expedition Portal. XOVERLAND will not influence that with a sponsored post or anything. There are ways maybe that one of our sponsors wants to put an ad in a journal or a portal, which is absolutely fine, but you will not see us have influence in a story or a gear review in any way. That is a very hard line that we will continue to hold.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Ashley, the cool thing is, telling adventure stories is wide open. So we get to tell more XOVERLAND stories. Like, it's not going to say, well, the tires that XOVERLAND used on their trip across, Siberia were the best. But we can certainly show beautiful photographs, tell the story of their trip, their challenges, what they overcame, what they learned. But it's not going to include product placement in the editorial. So I think I'm really excited about telling more beautiful and bigger adventure stories with XOVERLAND because there is no conflict of interest. We're just talking about their trip.
Yep.
So, and we've always done that. XOVERLAND's been on the cover of Overland Journal many times because they're great stories. They're awesome adventures.
Yeah, and there's even articles of past trips, I think, Ashley, that you've written or other folks that have been on the trips, but it comes down to the emphasis of the travel. Yeah. Like, this is what we went and did. This is cool. And you should read about it in the journal, because it's up to this level. And I want to see more and more of that in the future. Just more angles of the story.
That's right.
That can be told, because you only get so much in a video series. You can only say so much, show so much. There's so many other things that happen in the background, or people have other experiences than what I can put out as a series host, I guess. So it's a great way to expand the knowledge of what happens on one of our trips.
Does that answer your question?
Very cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was great. Yeah,
awesome.
Thank you. I was going to also ask about, what should people expect to see in terms of any changes, or what is going to be brought forward in each arena? So are there going to be events, or what will happen with the Overland Journal podcast? What will happen with XOVERLAND? What will happen with what should people expect to see in terms of changes and big dreams that you guys have that for the future for all of these undertakings?
Yeah, I think I would love to answer a question first on what is the Overland Collective?
Yes.
I saw that question pop up a few times, and I think we can all kind of take a stab at that, but you've heard us say a few times, it's really the collaboration of these two amazing companies coming together and working together to do bigger and better things. And I know that's a very high level answer, but at the high level, that's what we're doing. We saw that our strengths were better together instead of us moving forward individually and helping each other where we could. It was time to come together and really be able to be stronger. So, as I said, these brands, we've brought them together under one umbrella. They will continue to operate, and we will have more people, more horsepower to be able to do bigger things, tell bigger stories. And I'll let Clay and Scott chime in on more of the visionary things as well.
So I would say that's the baseline of what it does. And the reason that we were forming the Overland Collective, it's really important when two teams come together that you form a new North Star. Because individual companies they need their North Star, who they are and what they do. But if you're going to come in and work together, you need something even past that point to all be working towards. It keeps everything between the rails and on track towards something bigger. And that was the vision when Scott and I and Shelley and we were all talking. We're like, okay, this is really cool. We do want all of our companies to continue to run as they are, but how can we, when we do combine, how can we put it towards something even bigger and better in the future? Because if we didn't do that, why would you do it?
Sure.
You know, so as long as, so when we're thinking through it, this has to benefit the community of people that make all this possible first. And then we need to see how, with other business ideas, how we can make new visions work, you know, because at the end of the day, it takes capital to be able to achieve anything in this world. So how do we combine and make all of this new machine function towards something greater? And we have a lot of amazing ideas that are out in front of us that we're all working towards. Way too early to talk about right now, but just know that our hearts and our minds are set on providing even better value, more cool experiences, better production value, all these things leveling up in every way that possible for ourselves, for our business, and for the community itself. So that's what gets me up in the morning is that stuff. It's like, okay, let's roll. Let's work towards that. Yeah.
Well, and we both have so many people that care about our businesses and care about our content, consume it on a daily basis. So when you can take two businesses and now you only have one operating facility, you only have one CEO, you get to combine accounting. I mean, I'm just speaking practically.
Yeah.
Like it gives us more resources to make better content and more content. So people are going to see more content on Expedition Portal. They're going to see more content in Overland Journal. Like we try to shoot videos, but we're not very good at it. So like I have a world-class producer he's in the same room here, Andy. I mean, it's like he's going to be able to share with me ways to make better content. Clay's going to be able to say, hey, Scott, you may want to do that. You may want to stop using your iPhone and like, let's set you up with this thing and you'll get better content. So we can make better videos. So across the board, we can do just a better job.
Yeah.
And I think too, you guys, the Portal community is incredible. And you have, is it 20 years on the Portal?
Yeah.
Expedition Portal?
This year. 2005 was the first year.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You have all this massive community of people that have had input into the Portal on an education side, on just people coming together in community and helping each other out and riffing and educating. And that's something that we haven't been able to do on our side because we've been so focused on inspiring people from a video and a storytelling perspective. So really being able to bring the community together and to do more to build the community and involve people gets me really excited as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Will that be in the form of events, or is the Overland Collective something that is like a paid subscription, or?
You know, honestly, we are still figuring a lot of that out, what the model looks like and how we want to operate. Events, absolutely, yes. And the ranch is such a big piece of that. And especially having Scott come in, he has training curriculum that they've developed years ago, overlanding training curriculum. And Clay is constantly thinking in those terms as well. So I've kind of tasked these two. We're going out to the ranch today, and they're just going to walk around the property and talk and brainstorm about what are people needing and what are they wanting to learn? What's next? Because we all know through COVID, everything went to a screen, and you can only learn so much on a screen. But when you can get your hands dirty and get frustrated and get the dirt under your fingernails and put your hands on things and actually operate a winch or get your truck unstuck, that is where things really click and where the magic happens. So I'm really excited to expand more on our events and our training offerings as well. And then, of course, we have our big event this summer, The Big Thing. Yes, Clay came up with that name. He was very excited about it.
I think it's great.
Let's call it, like what we kept saying, like, I don't know, it's just got to be a big thing. We got to do the big thing. And we're like, well, let's just call it The Big Thing.
So we will continue to do those as long as we can once a year in the summer and bring the community in. And it's really to get back to that hands-on experience training.
Yeah.
Of course, you can always come, you can buy gear. Also, it's a way for people to talk with businesses that we work with And if we can help bridge the gap between the consumer and the business, you can directly ask questions. You can ask what product you've been wanting or why they're doing it a certain way. This is the opportunity to do that. And we're going to have a lot of fun. We keep calling it adult summer camp. So
It totally is. It totally. And the new logo is coming out, and it's awesome.
It's really
the big thing. Logo. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
But yeah, anything you guys want to add to that?
I'll speak to the ranch for a minute. So the ranch was a big deal. It was a really big deal for us to come put together. It was, it still is it's a big animal to run. And we've kind of been on the crawl, walk, run scenario here because we had to figure out how to get our feet under us, which we have in a lot of ways. So the vision of the ranch is that it is absolutely the hub for the community to come and learn the very best things at a centralized place. So it's awesome that Overland Expos are out there and other training companies are out there. Please keep going to those things. But we want a centralized location that there's a constant within the industry. So as we spool up trainings and experiences out there, you know that there's somewhere that you can consistently go to get very consistent training, and that it's a place that is working on developing the best curriculum possible, because overlanding is extremely hands-on. It's a tangible thing. You know, like Shelley said, you can watch as many things as you want on YouTube, but you don't know how until you unstuck a car in the sand with Max Trax, or use a winch and hook things up for the first time for real and put your hands on it, or cook that meal. You can watch all the YouTubes you want, but when you go to do it, it's going to be like starting at ground zero. So turning head knowledge into a whole lot of experience. That's what the ranch is about. In fact, the slogan of the ranch is "Come inspired, leave equipped." And that's it. We want you to leave from that point, wherever you leave from the gate, ready to go, or at least mostly ready to go as far as you can, to go do whatever it is that you want to go do.
So yes, on events.
Cool. Do you have any? Yes. Do you have any ideas as to what's on the curriculum? I know you touched on all of those things that you just mentioned, but any specifics you can divulge?
Sure. Driving techniques, everything. So the off-road course is designed to take anybody from two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive, four low, and understand all the advanced functions of the vehicle, understanding approach, departure angles, breakover angles, tipping angles, understanding recovery, what's dangerous, what's safe, where to, ultimately where to break the rules if you have to, photography, storytelling, because a lot of people want to tell their stories just like we do. The medical, there's so much medical emphasis that we need. So we're working on the medical scenario side of things, how to build a safe vehicle, how to build a proper vehicle, understanding the compromises of that.
How to know how to calculate how much fuel you need, water you need,
travel logistics, border crossings,
international.
What else, Scott?
No, there's so much to go through. And what's fun is, 20 years ago, we did work for the U.S. government. We trained special forces, and we developed curriculum that helped them to be safer, better drivers. And that evolved into the Overland Certified program. So we have all of that curriculum. Yeah. And then 15 years later, Simon & Schuster calls up and says, can you write a book on the Overlanding 101? So we basically, over the last year, got to develop the 101 curriculum for the ranch. Yeah. It took months of time to create what is the 101 guidebook now. It's the course curriculum for an Overlanding 101 course that we can do at the ranch. And I was able to just spend an enormous amount of time doing deep work, thinking about best practices and the things that I've learned going around the world, and then share that with the reader. And now we get to share it with the student.
Yeah. And I'm so excited about that. I was reading through your book and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Ooh, I learned this. And it's still on the 101 level. It's just that thorough. I'm learning a ton of stuff from that. And I've been doing this for 15 years now. I'm like, oh, ooh, that's cool. I didn't know that, So you can, at the ranch and the curriculum, all of that is there. And then we've already been talking about the 200 and 300 level classes that would come from that eventually. So you know that the folks that are building the curriculum and the experiences at the XOVERLAND Ranch are the people that are behind writing the books about it. It's really exciting.
Yeah, and we're actually offering, so Sunday after our big event, which is July 10th through the 13th, Sunday you can pay to take an additional advanced class. So we're going to try and just start doing some of these models. So there's an advanced vehicle recovery class that you can take. It's an extra 5 hours. We have some training on the defense side if you are interested in that. And then we were just talking about even offering a women's
I think we slapped the table on it. It's a deal.
We did slap the table on it.
We're doing it.
We're doing a women's class on Sunday that you can also sign up for.
Love it.
It might not be in our link yet, but it will be there soon. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting. What else are you guys excited about moving forward with this grand thing? What are you just so looking forward to going forward?
The ability to talk towards one thing and have a vision together is what I'm really, really excited about. And then also offering, though we can't get deep into it right now, but building out that offering for the Overland community that they go, wow, this is awesome. That it just hasn't been possible before. Centralized information, centralized entertainment, centralized equipment and gear. Just, a very cool place to come and learn everything and have it comprehensively packaged. Because all of us, as we've gotten into this, we had to go over here and do this and had to go over there and find that out. And we're pulling it all together to make it the best learning and user experience possible.
And at the end of the day, XOVERLAND's mission has always been to hopefully inspire people to explore the world, and not just explore the world, but boldly explore the world. And we had that word boldly in there for that reason, so that people feel at least a little more confident by what they've learned through us or seen through us, that they can take that next step. And that's really why we're all here. It's not just for us. We would have done something, we would have just done this only for fun, not turn it into a business. But it's so important, and it's impacted us in many ways. And I'm sure it has you, Ash, as we've had conversations in the car. But there's something that happens and ignites in you when you're outside of your comfort zone, exploring a new culture, even if it's 2 days from your house. That's still going to impact you in some way, and you're going to learn. And that is really why we're all here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this has been my life's work, and to be able to see Overland Journal, the Expedition Portal Forum, Expedition Portal, the podcast, be stewarded by such an impressive team, and to be able to do it with people that I care about, doing things that I care about. I'm incredibly proud of the team. I'm incredibly proud of the Overland International team that includes you, Ashley, and Tina, and Brian, and Stephanie, and Andre that helped us for so many years. All of these incredible people, Paula, that have made all of this possible. I wouldn't be here without all of you, everybody in this room, and everybody that has worked on our team. And I'm so excited to see what's going to happen next. I want to see everybody win. I want to see the reader win. I want to see the forum member win from this. And that's my goal going forward, for sure.
I'm really excited to have just more amazing people in the room as we go forward. That's what excites me. Is I love building teams. I love our team, and I love interacting with our community. And that's what really gets me excited about this moving forward too.
Yeah, we're a community-based organization. It's all about community.
Yeah. Yep. Can't wait.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Yeah, everything I think that Richard and I do in some way is connected to another person or another group of people, whether it's information or we can travel the world because of you guys. So thanks for that. I appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
Heck yeah.
Because you have the platforms to be able to share stories and embrace storytelling in different ways. So yeah, and then it's my honor to be able to interview other people that are traveling or doing big things. So yeah, it's such a community thing from on all levels. I'm like, hey, where do you get this really good whatever? Where do you get tires in this country? Or what's the best food in this town? Or like from those small, like on the micro level to the macro level, it's an very incredible community. So yeah, exciting stuff.
And I just want to say,
what would you guys?
Oh, I just wanted to say that, like, people that are listening, you can reach me at scott.a.brady on Instagram. If you have questions, you can reach out to Clay and Rochelle. The XOVERLAND DMs are monitored actively. Please reach out and give us feedback. Tell us if we're missing the mark, if we can improve, if there's things that you would like for us to do, if you have concerns, if there's a way that we can support you. I mean, we need that feedback, because we want this to be the best that it can be for the community. So please reach out. Please let me know how editorially we can support you. Let's let XOVERLAND know how they can also support you with this larger organization. So please reach out.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'd love to know your possible solutions too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Come with a
inside the
solution.
organization, we have, the 1-3-1 rule. Here's my problem. These are 3 things I think might be a solution for that. And this is the one I'd recommend. That is tremendous, because we can get bombarded by thousands of problems every day. We can't solve all of them. So if you come with a few solutions in mind with that critique, I'm all ears. But if there's not a helpful solution packaged in there, there's a good chance that we won't be able to get to it unless we see a lot of consistency inside of it by other people. Then we'll have to address it. But so anyway, it's a complex thing, but we want to know. We call it forging. Fold it over, hit us again. We could become stronger, put us back in the fire, pull us back out, hit us again. And we just get better and better and better. Ready for it.
And will you be at Overland Expo or any of the events coming up where people can see you in person to give some feedback?
Yes. So Scott and I will be at Overland Expo. Our entire XO team will also be there. We'll have some of the trucks. Clay.
I'll be traveling internationally at the time.
He will be.
Love that.
And I will actually be flying directly from Expo to meet the team somewhere in the world. But we will have some of our trucks there. Some trucks are already on a boat, as many of you saw on our social feeds. But Scott and his team will also be there, and we are ready to hang out with everybody and see everybody. Catch up.
Yeah, please come say hi. Let us know what we can do to be better. So
yeah. And we'd love to hear your excitement too. People being excited yesterday when we launched it. It was so cool to see the support, and that motivates us big time.
It helps so much. Yeah.
Is there anything else that any of you would like the listeners and viewers to know about the Overland Collective before we wrap?
I would say thank you. I just want everyone to know how important it is that you hear how thankful we are. We exist because of people watching our shows and reading our articles and listening to these podcasts. And without you guys, we wouldn't have a job. We wouldn't be able to go do this. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you. And I just cannot wait to see what happens next. I've been rejuvenated by all kinds of ideas and visions of what the cool thing could be next. And so thank you for that.
And thank you to all of our partners and businesses that have supported each of our businesses all of these years. We also wouldn't be here without that as well. So the relationships we've been able to form with amazing people in the industry and at these companies has been just paramount to what we get to do. So thank you.
Yeah.
And Ashley, thank you for being the amazing Ashley.
Indeed.
I try very hard every day.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. I mean, you're Canadian, so it just kind of happens that way, but you're also extra. You're extra Canadian.
Yeah.
And thanks to you, too, as well, for having faith in me and our team and for making this all possible and giving us the opportunity to work together for something greater.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
For your trust. It's an honor to be here and have it come full circle from being inspired by Overland Journal before we started all those years ago. It's very surreal.
Very much full circle. It's cool.
Very much.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I was just going to say that I will be very excited to see where this goes in the future, and all the big dreams that are in the works right now will come to fruition. And yeah, really excited to see where this all goes. So yeah, thank you for taking the time to chat with me on the Overland Journal podcast today.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. I'm glad the Wi-Fi worked out from wherever you are in the world. Please tell Richard hi.
I know he's back
I know
there.
he's back there listening. Hi, Richard.
Awesome. Yay. Will do. But yeah, thank you again.
Thank you.
And we'll catch you next time.
All righty.
All right, here
Have
we
a
go.
good night.